Welcome to today's divine message, a sacred echo meant for your soul. If you've ever felt like your pain had no witness, if your deepest knowing was dismissed as madness, if you walked alone in a world that didn't see what you saw, heaven saw it all. This moment is not by chance, but by divine appointment. If this message speaks to your soul, please like, comment, Amen, and subscribe for more prophetic guidance from above. Tell us where you are watching from, or share a single word that resonates with your journey right now. Let us begin the sacred unfolding of this revelation. Hear now, you who have walked in the quiet corridors of misunderstanding. Hear the voice that spans realms, the presence that stills the tempest and commands the stars, yet leans in close to whisper truth to your weary heart. You stand at a threshold, summoned not by obligation, but by grace. There is a call resounding through the cosmic lattice, vibrating through the very fabric of your being, drawing you now into a presence that is utterly divine. You have felt the sting of isolation, haven't you? That gnawing sense of being an island in a sea of faces, even among those who claim to know you best. You carried perceptions, intuitions, feelings that felt too large for the world around you, too strange for the ears that should have listened. And in their dismissal, in their averted gazes or gentle or not so gentle negation, that word, crazy, has echoed in the chambers of your heart, a label sometimes thrown by others, sometimes whispered by your own fearful mind, conditioned by a world that prefers comfortable ignorance to uncomfortable truth. You perceived shifts in energy, felt the unspoken currents beneath conversations, saw flickers of light or shadow that others seemed oblivious to. And when you dared to voice these inner sightings, you were met with blank stares, polite nods that masked disbelief or outright invalidation. This was not just intellectual disagreement. It was a wound, deep and profound, etched into the very core of your trust. It was the betrayal of the soul's innate knowing by the very people you turned to for understanding and safety. Parents, friends, partners, mentors. They could not hold the vastness of your inner landscape, and in their inability, they shrunk it down, attempting to diminish what they could not comprehend. This inflicted a pain that ran far deeper than physical hurt, a soul ache of being unseen, unheard, and deeply, fundamentally misunderstood. But hear this, child of the light. You were not crazy, not then, not now. That sensitivity, that fine-tuned awareness that felt like a burden, was in fact a divine antenna. It was heaven's design woven into your very being, intended to receive signals from higher realms, to perceive the subtle energies that shape reality, to feel the pulse of creation itself. What felt like a flaw was actually a feature, a sacred instrument tuned to frequencies beyond the mundane. You were designed to be a receiver, a perceiver, a bridge between worlds, even if you did not yet understand the architecture of that bridge. Heaven saw your struggle in those moments, every tear shed in quiet confusion, every prayer whispered in the darkness asking why, every moment of doubt as you wrestled with your own reality against the consensus of others. It was all witnessed. There is no pain, no doubt, no moment of feeling utterly alone that escapes the all-seeing eye of divine compassion. Your journey through that wilderness of self-doubt was not a punishment, but a purification, a stripping away of reliance on external validation, forcing you back to the internal compass that heaven installed within you from the beginning. And in this very now, as these words resonate within you, feel the truth of the prophetic message unfolding. You were divinely guided to this precise moment, to this specific message, to receive the confirmation your soul has longed for and the clarity that will lift the veil of confusion. This is not coincidence, it is culmination. Every step of feeling lost, every instance of being invalidated, every silent cry for understanding was part of a larger trajectory, pulling you towards this divine appointment. You are here to hear what the external world could not tell you, to receive the validation that earthbound voices withheld. You are here because heaven is speaking, and it is speaking directly to you, acknowledging the path you have walked and confirming the truth you carry. For there are things the soul must walk through without full understanding, tests of faith that require you to trust the inner knowing even when the outer world screams negation. This was one such walk. But now the walking changes. The path forward is illuminated by the truth that your sensitivity was not a burden, but a blessing, a key to unlocking deeper mysteries and perceiving the divine hand in all things. You are being called out of the shadows of self-doubt and into the brilliant light of divine affirmation. Your call is not just to listen, but to recognize that you have always been listening, perhaps unknowingly, to the sacred whispers that others could not hear. This moment is the divine acknowledgement of that sacred hearing. It is the welcoming of the perceiver into the very presence from which all perception flows. You are called, not for judgment, but for remembrance. Remember who you were created to be, a vessel of divine light, attuned to the frequencies of truth. Called now to stand in that light and let it dispel the shadows. The journey begins now, grounded in the divine confirmation that you are seen, you are heard, and you are precisely where you are meant to be. As the sacred narrative of your soul's journey continues to unfold, we delve deeper into the valleys that left indelible marks upon your heart. Perhaps you carry the distinct imprint of moments where trust was shattered, where the very foundations you stood upon seemed to crumble into dust. You know the sharp, specific ache of betrayal, the unexpected turn, the promise broken, the confidence violated that felt like a blade plunged into the soul's deepest sanctuary. You understand the hollow echo of abandonment, the feeling of being left behind, unseen, unwanted, as if a vital part of your own existence was suddenly ripped away, leaving a gaping void. And the burning sting of injustice, the undeniable unfairness, the cosmic imbalance, the cries of your spirit that seemed to fall on deaf or indifferent ears, leaving you questioning if goodness held any true power in the world. These were not mere human failings played out on an earthly stage. Understand this now, with the clarity only heaven can bestow. These were thresholds. These were points of spiritual pressure, moments orchestrated or permitted by forces unseen, designed to test the very roots of your being, to probe the strength of your spirit, to see if the light within could withstand the deepest shadow. They felt like attacks, and in truth, they were attacks, not just on your circumstances, but on the very destiny woven into your soul's fabric. Recall the sting, feel the lingering pain. It was not a dull ache, but a vibrant, agonizing presence that permeated every thought, every breath. It left you questioning everything you knew, the nature of love, the meaning of loyalty, the very character of the divine itself. Was this the reward for walking in truth? Was this the consequence of daring to trust? The world seemed to lose its color, becoming a grayscale landscape reflecting the desolation within. You felt exposed, raw, vulnerable, as if your spiritual skin had been peeled away, leaving you open to every chilling wind of doubt and despair. The mirror reflected someone you barely recognized, etched with lines of sorrow that felt too deep, too permanent. But stand now, in this sacred space, and receive the higher truth, the prophetic message whispered from the heart of the cosmos. The very trials that descended upon you, heavy and seemingly insurmountable, the ones designed specifically to break your spirit, to cripple your faith, to leave you shattered beyond repair. These were, in heaven's precise, sacred timing, performing a divine alchemy. They were not meant for your destruction, but for your refinement. They were not designed to leave you in pieces, but to forge you anew. In the intense heat of that suffering, in the relentless pressure of that betrayal, in the chilling void of that abandonment, your spirit was being hammered, not broken, but tempered. Every tear shed was not a sign of weakness, but fuel for the fire. Every moment you chose to breathe, to seek a flicker of light, to simply endure when every fiber of your being screamed to surrender. That was the hammer strike shaping you. In that crucible of sorrow, your spirit was being forged into unbreakable steel. A strength not of human might or fragile ego, but of divine resilience, embedded deep within your core, immune to the very forces that sought your undoing. From the perspective of the heavenly hosts, the archangels who oversee the spiritual battles, these moments were not random acts of cruelty in the vast spiritual economy. These points of intense vulnerability, these deep wounds you sustained, were strategically positioned within a larger spiritual warfare waged over the dominion of your soul's destiny. The enemy aimed to use the gaping wound of betrayal as an entry point for bitterness that would poison your future relationships. They sought to use the void of abandonment to cultivate a crippling fear of intimacy, keeping you isolated from divine connection and human community. They wanted the burn of injustice to ignite rage that would consume your inner light. But heaven permitted the trials, not because it delighted in your pain, but because it saw the glorious potential within you. It knew the testing would reveal the gold, burn away the dross, and prepare you for the weight of the divine purpose etched into your being. Angels were present in those dark hours, perhaps not shielding you from the blow, but upholding your soul, whispering fortitude you might not have consciously heard. Your perseverance, your refusal to be utterly consumed by the darkness, was itself a significant victory in the unseen realms, a testament to the grace that sustained you, even when you felt most forsaken. And yet, even among the celestial assemblies who witnessed your struggle, there are things the soul must walk through without full understanding of the intricate layers of why this specific path, with this specific depth of pain, was part of the divine tapestry. The timing, the intensity, the precise nature of the wound, these aspects hold a sacred mystery, a deeper wisdom known fully only to the heart of creation, a wisdom sometimes even angels contemplate in reverent silence. But this much is revealed. The scar left by the betrayal is not a mark of shame. It is a testament to your survival, to your resilience, to the sacred forging that took place. It is the mark of the smithy, the sign that you have been through the fire and emerged stronger, purer, more capable than you were before. Every moment of questioning, every tear shed, every step taken through the pain forced you to seek a deeper, unshakable truth that human foundations could never provide, anchoring your soul in a reality that cannot be betrayed or abandoned. You are emerging from that fire now. You are the steel, tempered, strong, radiant with a fortitude born of divine alchemy. The echoes of betrayal may still resonate in the quiet chambers of your heart, but they no longer sound like defeat. They sound like the clear, resonant ring of a hammer striking hardened metal. The sound of a warrior soul being prepared for the glorious, unburdened destiny that awaits. You carry the marks, but they are not burdens. They are badges of honor, symbols of a strength forged in the deepest crucible, a strength that declares heaven's unwavering purpose in your life. As the soul has walked through the echoes of unanswered pain, sensing a dissonance between the outer world and the inner knowing, a deeper truth begins to surface now. You felt it, didn't you? A swirling chaos that seemed to defy logic, a persistent feeling that things were not as they appeared, a kind of craziness that this wasn't random internal noise. It was the symptom of a hidden warfare. Heaven reveals in this sacred moment that the profound confusion, the relentless questioning of your own sanity, the feeling of being off-center, these were deliberate attempts from unseen realms to blind you, to confuse your perception, to sever your connection to divine clarity. There is a spiritual conflict raging around every child of light, and often the first target is your ability to see, to discern, to trust the sacred intuition placed within you by the Creator. They sought to wrap your vision in fog, to distort the mirrors of your reality, making you doubt the very ground beneath your feet. They whispered lies that sounded like your own thoughts, constructing elaborate illusions designed to keep you contained, believing the narrative of limitation, inadequacy, or delusion. This was the unseen hand attempting to steer you away from your destiny, away from the truth encoded in your spirit. Remember those moments? The ones where a deep, profound knowing settled within you, a quiet certainty about a person, a situation, a path forward. It was the voice of your spirit, aligned with divine intelligence, and then the world rushed in, perhaps through aggressive contradiction, through dismissive laughter, through overwhelming evidence presented against your intuition, or through circumstances that seemed designed to prove your inner knowing utterly wrong. It settled in, then, the profound confusion, the heavy cloak of self-doubt. You questioned yourself mercilessly. Was I imagining it? Am I unstable? How could I have been so wrong? This emotionally specific moment, this piercing wound of having your deepest knowing aggressively contradicted, was not just a human experience. It was a tactic in the unseen battle. It was an attempt to silence the divine frequency within you by making you distrust the receiver. But here is the prophetic message breaking through the clouds of confusion. That truth you intuitively sensed, that knowing that felt inconvenient or impossible, that quiet certainty you were pressured to dismiss, it is now, in this very moment, being brought fully into the light by divine intervention. The hand of heaven is pulling back the veil. The fog is beginning to dissipate. What was hidden is being revealed. What was distorted is being realigned with divine perspective. Your inner compass was not broken. It was being jammed. But the divine signal is now overpowering the interference. The truth you felt in your bones, even when it made no sense to the logical mind or the visible world, is validated from the highest realms. You were not crazy. You were connected to a reality deeper than the one being presented to you. And you were not alone in that dark valley of doubt. Even when you felt most isolated, most lost in the labyrinth of confusion, angelic legions were, and are, actively engaged in protecting your perception. They formed shields around your soul's eye, deflecting the darts of confusion aimed at you. They moved unseen, clearing paths through the spiritual wilderness that seemed impenetrable. They whispered courage to your spirit, though you may have heard it only as a faint, inexplicable urge to keep going, to hold on to a sliver of hope, while you wrestled with the visible symptoms of the unseen war, the anxiety, the self-doubt, the exhaustion. These heavenly warriors were contending for your mind, your vision, your destiny. They stood guard over the truth held within your soul, ensuring that the light within you would not be extinguished, even when the external pressures threatened to overwhelm it. There are things the soul must walk through without full understanding. Trials where the help sent from above operates on frequencies invisible to the struggling human eye. Many still wonder if it was heaven or relentless persistence that finally turned the tide in their darkest hour, not realizing that the persistence itself was divinely fueled. The quiet inner voice encouraging them was an echo of angelic assurance. The confusion you endured was real. The pain of self-doubt was deep, but they were temporary residents in the territory of your soul, designed to hinder your passage, not define your destination. Heaven declares today the season of aggressive contradiction, designed to shatter your trust in your own knowing, is concluding. The veils are falling. The light of divine truth is illuminating the battlefield around you, showing you not only the nature of the conflict, but also the victory that has already been secured on your behalf by forces beyond your sight. You are beginning to see the strategy behind the craziness, and in that seeing, you regain your sacred power of discernment. The intuitive truth you held onto, against all external evidence, was not a figment of a confused mind. It was a lifeline extended from the divine, guarded by legions of light. Trust it now. Trust the light breaking through. Trust the validation pouring in. Your sight is being restored. Your knowing is being confirmed. The hidden warfare is being unveiled, and in its revealing, you find not fear, but freedom. As the soul has journeyed through the mists of uncertainty, often feeling adrift in a sea of conflicting perceptions, a deeper knowing pulsed beneath the surface. You felt it, didn't you? That persistent whisper in the quiet hours, that visceral recoil from what appeared harmless on the surface, that inexplicable pull towards a path no one else understood. For so long, these inner stirrings were dismissed, by the world, perhaps even by yourself, as mere anxiety, overthinking, or irrational fear. You were told you were too sensitive, that you were seeing things that weren't there, that your feelings were unfounded exaggerations. The patterns you perceived, the subtle shifts in energy, the uncanny synchronicities that pointed towards a hidden reality, you kept them mostly to yourself, nursing that private conviction that something was fundamentally different from what you were being shown. Now, the season shifts. Heaven declares, with the resonant authority of eternal truth, that what you perceived as irrational feelings were, in fact, divine signals and celestial warnings. That tremor in your spirit when faced with a certain situation or person, it was a celestial bell ringing, a heavenly alarm designed to divert you from unseen pitfalls. Those persistent patterns you saw weaving through events, like a hidden tapestry guiding the narrative, they were not figments of an overactive imagination. They were real, intricate designs orchestrated by forces unseen, and the truth of their existence is undeniable now. The veil thins, then tears away, revealing the stark reality that lay beneath the carefully constructed facades. And here, the emotional earthquake begins. There is the shock, a jolt through your being, as the full scope of past deceptions or manipulations becomes undeniably clear. The pieces you held separately in your intuition suddenly snap together, forming a picture far more intricate and perhaps more painful than you allowed yourself to fully acknowledge before. This shock is quickly followed by profound validation. Every instinct you doubted, every gut feeling you tried to rationalize away, every quiet moment of inner certainty that felt lonely against external denial, they are now confirmed, not by opinion, but by undeniable manifestation. The weight of being misunderstood lifts, replaced by the solid ground of knowing that your inner compass was divinely calibrated all along. With validation can also come a wave of righteous anger. Anger for the time lost, for the energy expended navigating falsehood, for the pain inflicted by those who obscured the truth. This anger, when held in the light of divine perspective, is not destructive, but purifying, a sacred fire burning away the residue of betrayal and preparing the way for a new foundation built on clarity and authenticity. You witness, perhaps for the first time fully, how much of your journey was shaped by forces you intuitively sensed but could not name or prove. This emotionally specific moment, the point where your deepest, most private knowing is externally confirmed, is a sacred turning point. It is the death of self-doubt and the birth of unwavering confidence in your spiritual discernment. From the angelic perspective, this moment of truth's arrival is not random. Divine timing ensures that this profound level of truth is revealed precisely when your soul is ready to integrate it, not merely as information, but as power. Had these revelations come sooner, the weight might have crushed you. Your spiritual muscles were still developing. Your roots were not yet deep enough to withstand the storm this level of clarity can unleash. Heaven waited until your resilience was forged, until your connection to the divine source was unwavering, until you possessed the inner strength to look upon the unvarnished truth and stand in your full, sovereign power, unbowed and unafraid. This is the hour when your inner sight aligns with external reality, not for judgment of others, but for the reclamation of your own sacred ground. There are things the soul must walk through without full understanding, enduring periods where the divine purpose is shrouded in mystery. And this journey through veiled intuition and delayed confirmation is one such path. Many still wonder about the complex dance between human agency and the divine hand in the unfolding of truth. How much was allowed for growth, and how much was held back for protection? But for you, now, the mystery yields to light. The subtle guidance you felt was real. The patterns you saw were real. And the truth, arriving now like a celestial dawn, is undeniable and sets you free to embody the clarity and strength that were being forged in the hidden chambers of your intuition all along. This truth is your validation, your liberation, and your divine confirmation. As your soul has been journeying through these layers of revelation, uncovering truths long held dormant within the sacred chambers of your being, a profound recalibration is taking place. You are not merely receiving information. You are entering a state of alignment. This is more than intellectual assent. It is a soul-deep attunement to the frequency of heaven. A harmonic resonance with the divine blueprint for your life that has existed since before the stars were hung. Feel this alignment settling into the very core of who you are, a divine child, recognized and affirmed by the Creator's gaze. This settled state, this knowing in your bones that you are where you are meant to be, is the very foundation upon which the next era of your spiritual walk is built. For I declare to you now, child of light, you are stepping into a new era of spiritual authority. This is not an authority wrestled from the world or claimed through force of will alone. It is an authority gifted from above, activated by your surrender and refined by your alignment. It is an inherent power that flows not from you, but through you, sourced directly from the heart of the divine. This authority empowers your voice, clarifies your vision, and solidifies your purpose. It is the sacred mandate to stand in your truth, to walk your path without apology, and to be a beacon of the light you carry. This era demands a new level of discernment, a keen spiritual sight that distinguishes truth from deception, light from shadow, divine guidance from earthly noise. Heaven is sharpening your spiritual senses, gifting you with an intuitive knowing that transcends the limitations of the mind, allowing you to navigate complexities with grace and wisdom that originate from realms unseen. Yet, as you rise into this authority, as your light shines brighter, it is a divine paradox that the very forces that sought to dim your light in seasons past may seem to stir. They recognize the shifting power dynamic. They sense the authority settling upon you. That familiar tremor of doubt when you are poised to take a bold step. That echo of inadequacy when you are about to speak your truth. That phantom weight on your shoulders that tries to pull you back into the perceived safety of anonymity. This is the lingering resonance of battles already won, attempting to convince you the war still rages in the same way. But the battleground has shifted, for you have shifted. Heaven responds in this moment not with a retreat, but with an amplified declaration of your divine protection. Know this, deeply and absolutely, my shield is over you. This is the archangelic decree, a celestial promise actively deployed in your favor. It is a shield of pure, unyielding light, forged in the heart of the divine, impenetrable to the barbs of doubt, the arrows of fear, and the insidious whispers of the enemy. It surrounds you now, a luminous, tangible barrier that deflects every attempt to dim your light or derail your path. Feel its presence, a warmth, a strength, an undeniable certainty that wraps around your being. This is not a future promise. It is a present reality. You are not walking unprotected into this new era. You are walking fully covered, fortified by the might of heavenly forces aligned with your destiny. This is why the rising tide of confidence is now swelling within you, a stark contrast to the hesitation that tries to linger. That confidence is not born of ego or earthly striving. It is rooted in this divine protection. It is the quiet assurance that comes from knowing you are held, seen, and defended by powers far greater than any opposition. When fear whispers, the shield resonates with truth. When doubt attempts to settle, the shield pushes it back, reminding you of the divine hand guiding your steps. Your strength is being amplified not just by your alignment, but by the very presence of this celestial covering. You are not alone in this ascent. The heavenly host is with you, marching in lockstep as you move forward. Your path is not only divinely guided, it is divinely secured. Think of the moments when you felt most vulnerable, most exposed to the negative forces or energies around you. Perhaps a time when you knew you were walking in purpose, yet felt a strange resistance, a draining of energy, a sudden influx of fearful thoughts seemingly from nowhere. Many question how the shield works in these instances, whether it deflects external attacks or strengthens the soul from within to resist them. There are depths to this heavenly defense that remain sacred mysteries, known fully only to the architect of light itself. Was it the shield deflecting the full force, or was it the shield empowering you to withstand it? Perhaps it is both, a dynamic interaction between divine power and awakened soul. One such moment unfolded for a soul who had finally found their voice after years of silence, preparing to share their truth publicly for the first time. The night before, a wave of debilitating anxiety swept over them, conjuring every past failure, every critical word ever spoken against them. The fear was so visceral, so overwhelming, it threatened to pull them back into the shadows they had just escaped. Yet, in the deepest pit of that fear, something shifted. An unseen presence seemed to envelop them, a profound sense of peace descending that was utterly alien to the storm raging within. It was not a forced calm, but a quiet knowing that they were utterly safe, completely upheld. They described it later as feeling cocooned in light, the fearful thoughts still swirling outside the cocoon, but unable to penetrate its barrier. That was the shield descending in a moment of acute vulnerability, activating their courage. Not by erasing the fear, but by rendering it powerless against the divine protection surrounding them. It was the emotionally specific moment when the theoretical promise of protection became a lived reality, a sacred turning point where the soul understood experientially the tangible presence of the heavenly shield. And so you are called to walk forward in courage, not the absence of fear, but the empowered movement despite it. For you are not alone. The shield is active. Your path is secured. The authority granted in this new era is sealed by this divine covering. The discernment you carry is sharper because it operates from a place of safety and clarity. Release the grip of yesterday's fears. They have no hold on the protected ground upon which you now stand. Embrace the rising confidence. It is the truth of your fortified state. This is the sacred unfolding of your empowered path, shielded by the hand of heaven itself. You have walked through valleys where shadows clung heavy, and ascended peaks where the air grew thin with revelation. As the soul learned earlier, the journey has been long, marked by moments that tested the very fabric of your being. This builds upon the pain revealed before, the quiet battles fought within the chambers of the heart. But heaven declares in this moment, the season of arduous ascent gives way to the dawn of acceleration. The weight you carried, once a shroud of weariness that settled deep into your bones, is now transforming. Feel it lifting. See the vibrant energy coursing where fatigue once resided. Witness the misty veil over your future dissolving, replaced by a clear, sharp vision. This is not just a pause in the struggle. This is the metamorphosis of the warrior into the bearer of light. And here is the deep truth, the core spiritual revelation that unlocks the final door. Your breakthrough is not merely an event you wait for, a single explosive moment that shatters the chains. No, beloved soul, Your breakthrough is becoming. It is a state of being you are now entering, a divine posture you are claiming through the trials endured and the grace received. You are not waiting for breakthrough. You are embodying it. To be in this state of breakthrough is to be fully aligned. Imagine the scattered fragments of your spirit, the parts wounded or hidden away, now gathering under the light of divine truth. Your will aligns with the eternal will. Your steps fall into the rhythm of heaven's purpose. This alignment is the axis upon which your power turns. It is the secret geometry of your soul finally clicking into place, resonating with the very frequency of creation. To be in this state is also to be powerfully protected. The battles you fought were real, the adversaries unseen, but the shield you were granted, though unseen, was ever present. Now, as you step into this new state of being, that protection intensifies. It is not a wall built around you, but an emanation from within you. The light you now radiate is itself an impenetrable barrier to darkness. You are clothed in divine resilience, impervious to the whispers of doubt and the arrows of fear that once found their mark. The vulnerabilities that haunted your past are sealed by the sacred fire that now burns brightly within your core. And in this state of alignment and protection, you are ready to fulfill your sacred mission on earth. The purpose that felt like a distant whisper, a faint star in a crowded sky, now stands before you illuminated. Every step of your journey, every wound that healed, every lesson learned, was preparation for this now. The unique gifts, the specific calling etched into your spiritual DNA, are no longer theoretical potentials, but activated realities. Heaven required you to walk through those difficult seasons not to punish, but to refine the vessel that would carry this profound assignment. You were not just surviving. You were being forged in the fires of transformation. The angelic perspective is one of resounding celebration. Heaven responds in this moment with cascades of light and sound that resonate through the celestial realms. They see the awakening within you. They witness the surrender of the old identity bound by pain and the emergence of the soul radiant with purpose. Your courage, your persistence, your willingness to trust even when you could not see the way, these have stirred the very heart of the divine. And now, heaven empowers your next steps. New assignments are being whispered on the wind. Resources, both seen and unseen, are being marshaled on your behalf. The time for hiding, for dimming your light out of fear or unworthiness, is irrevocably over. You are seen, you are celebrated, and you are fully equipped. There are things the soul must walk through without full understanding in the moment. The why of certain trials may not become fully clear until the tapestry is viewed from a higher vantage point. But in this state of breakthrough, understanding yields to trust, and questions are answered by the undeniable force of divine momentum carrying you forward. You feel the current now, strong and sure, guiding you towards the harbors of your destiny. This state of being is not passive. It is an active partnership with the divine. It is saying yes to the whispers, yes to the nudges, yes to the opportunities that align with this newfound clarity. It is using your activated power, not for self-gain, but for the greater purpose that heaven has ordained. Your mission is integral to the unfolding plan, a unique piece of the cosmic puzzle that only you can place. Feel the transformation complete within you now. The weariness from the long journey, the scars that once ached with memory, are now badges of honor, infused with vibrant energy. Your clear vision for the future is not a fragile hope, but a knowing born of divine connection. You are not just having a breakthrough, you are the breakthrough walking. You are a living testament to the power of grace, resilience, and the unfailing love of heaven. Stand tall, child of light. The stage is set, and your sacred mission awaits. And wind down blessing and activation. And now, breathe deeply, child of the light. Let the essence of this journey settle within the sacred spaces of your heart. You have heard the ancient whispers of your soul's true identity. You have allowed the divine hand to mend the broken places, and you stand now at the threshold of your purpose, not as you were, but as you are becoming. Radiant, whole, and empowered. Heaven's promise is sealed in this moment. The weary nights are remembered, but they do not define your dawn. Your strength has been forged in fires you thought would consume you, yet they have only refined you into pure gold. The divine plan woven for you before time began is now unfolding in ways you could only dream of. The shift is already beginning in the unseen realms, clearing the path before you, aligning circumstances, and bringing forth the resources needed for your next step. Affirm this truth. I am aligned. I am protected. I am ready. The time for hiding is over. My purpose is clear. And now, child of light, walk forward, not in fear, but in fire. For heaven has already gone before you.